यात्री कृपया ध्यान दें। And I've seen your portfolio. You have done like really good stuff, I must say. But experience in all of these languages, because I know almost a lot of them. But yeah, I'm still yet to learn TypeScript. You already know TypeScript. That's
Mhm.
good. That's great. That's great. And what is the value of being skilled in, especially in web development, because I see a lot of Indian devs right now moving towards web development, React and TypeScript and all of that stuff. What's the scope of web development over there, especially React and TypeScript and Node.js and all of that?
Uh, Web development, I would say, is I will not say the future, but the reason everyone is switching over to that, because the future is web progressive apps. So that is actually how, for example, in future, what's gonna happen is you will never go to Play Store to actually install stuff on your phone and then use it. What's gonna happen is you will start, for example, facebook.com, and you will see an online application that can access your phone or your mic, your camera, everything like an app does, but it's not using your CPU or GPU. It's just hosted on somewhere on Facebook servers. That is the reason everyone like kinda is moving towards that, because nowadays it's not about coding, for example, an application for Android. You have to make complex Android Studio code and all that stuff, because first of all, a web progressive app or websites are easier to manage, because for, let's suppose, an application for an Android requires way lot of updates and security and all that stuff. So that is the reason everyone is just moving to what we call just the React and online stuff, I would say, and that is why I am doing it.
And what about the
I'm
job
more
market?
experienced. Like, oh, it's full. If you consider React, 7 out of 10 jobs would require maybe like Vue, Angular, or React for web development. And most of them, like every company right now requires a web developer, because the main benefit of the web developer is you can go to the bank, you can go to any investor services company, you can go to a tech company like a Google or something, like any, tech company like that deals in software. You can go to consulting. Everyone needs React. You can be in automotive. They need it. So everyone needs actually a web development framework to have their website. Everyone have their website, right? Even Coca-Cola is hiring, software developers. So
Hmm.
that's the scope
Hmm.
specifically for web.
Got it. Uh, cool. Okay. Oh shit, yeah. What's happening, man, today? I don't know.
Oh, it's gone.
It's
Oh,
again,
that's great.
light is fluctuating. No issues. um, yeah, actually, cool. And I see that you have mentioned business skills as the third category. I don't do that in portfolio. Is there a specific
Mhm.
reason you have done that? Because you told that in Canada, companies do focus very much on these soft skills. Is this the
Mhm.
reason you have mentioned like your business skills as a separate third paragraph?
Oh, have you been into like, are you talking about my website?
Yeah, portfolio.
Oh, yeah, that actually needs a lot of updates. I'm sorry. I haven't even touched, I didn't get time to even do that. But the reason is, yes, the business skills is actually,
Programmers are lazy to update their blogs and portfolios. I know that it's just like going to gym. It's just like hitting gym. As we are lazy to hit gym, programmers are lazy to update their portfolios. I also do that. Okay, go on.
yeah, like
Sorry for
my,
interrupting.
even though like my resume, if you go out, my resume is completely changed right now. I don't know when I just, okay. The reason the business skills is, yes, just because the soft skills, because that actually, maybe because I am not a 9 to 5 guy. Like I may be doing this developing stuff, you know, for experience, and then I'll probably get my hands on some sort of startup. I do have ideas, but as a student, you can't, register a company or something like that on your name in
Hmm.
Canada. You can't do business. So I'm
Hmm.
just hoping, for my immigration status to change, or just open something, that kind of stuff. So business skills and all that soft skills are just because of that. So it just shows that that you have some sort of other skills, because they need someone with brains.
Hmm. Cool. And do does certifications matter a lot? Because I see a lot of students who were actually my seniors. I see a lot of them
Hmm.
doing these LinkedIn certifications and Pluralsight certifications and all of them, and also getting good decent jobs. So does certifications matter over there?
It does, because it would actually show a person. For example, if you're saying that you're good in React, and if and a person is saying, both of you are saying that you're good in React, and if a company is leaning towards, okay, whom to decide, and one of you, like for example, you have the certification, that's a well proof, like that's a proof that you are actually good at it. That doesn't mean that the other person don't know it, but it's just like, taking a risk. You're hiring someone, you're not gonna kick them out immediately. So it shows that, you're very good at it. You have the certification, because technically how the certification works, I would not say if a person has a certification from Udemy, they'll be valuable. Like all those platforms,
Hmm.
there's Udemy and all that stuff. The only certification that even I will consider is from Coursera,
Hmm.
because they have programs like university. Because if anyone want to do, a separate certification or a course, I would say Coursera. If you have to, show certification, because I personally, I don't care about the certification, like, certificate. I just lean more, more towards the learning stuff, learning side. So I usually, every time I go on Udemy, because it's cheap, and
Hmm.
technically, I just have to learn something. I don't need to show people, because what I would show is actually through my projects. Instead of certifications, I believe showing projects. So in that way, they can actually use everything and just get, satisfied what they're getting.
Got it. Uh, And what about Fang? Because like in India right now we have this culture of Fang is considered like the most sexiest thing out there. It's like if you get into Fang, you are the next genius. Uh, of course, and it is of course like I think it's somewhat near to true. But what's the Fang thing over there? And because it is much more relevant over there because Facebook doesn't hire over here and Netflix also, but they do hire over there. So what's the culture?
Sorry, I don't even know what's Fang.
Okay,
What is Fang?
cool. Fang.
I'm not familiar with those terminologies.
Okay, so Fang is like that. Okay, with your this question, I get the idea what the culture of Fang over there is because in India, even the kid getting passing his high school and getting into first year knows what Fang is. So Fang is sort of these companies, a bunch of companies which pay really well. Uh, so like tech giants, all of the tech giants, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, then Microsoft, DirectEye, and all of these, MediaTek, and all of these companies who pay like huge packages, 40, 50, or maybe like 25
Hmm.
lakhs and all of these. So and I think in Canada what I've heard is like six-figure jobs is what you aim for, and like 100K, or I think Amazon is the Amazon pays the highest. I think it's around 120 or 125K
Hmm.
to freshers. So do people like really care about all of these jobs? Because in India people do care a lot about all of these things. From first year itself they start preparing for data structures and all of those things. So yeah, what's the thing over there?
My call would be, so the six figures here are actually considered as something when you go, when you go into a millionaire club, six figures is actually $1 million. That comes out to be 60 lakhs.
Mm-hmm.
You would see like people don't have that in here. Like most of the people, because the culture in here is you work Monday to Friday, you get your paycheck, you have Saturday, Sunday to spend all of that. That is what most of the people do. So as far as going to, Google and Amazon is concerned, I can say my scenario, I'm not interested. The reason being, first reason is you, it's just like, because for example, let's take an example. In Winnipeg, an average starter like fresher would get like 70K a year, $70,000, and Amazon would pay 100K, let's suppose. So you can apply, but there's not like people, they prefer more their, family lives and everything, their own what they're doing. They will prefer, because in Amazon, the perks of being in Amazon is like you will get paid more. but the downside is you'll have to work more. They prefer more, work less and be with their family, enjoy their life. So I don't think so. People over here will be like too much crazy. There are everyone, like everyone gonna, everyone would like to have that, but it's not like they're too much crazy. Just okay, we are specifically want to go in that. That is what I believe, because all of my classmates or whatever my group is, like in the university, they are like, okay, we want to go into that, but they're not like that much crazy. Okay, that is everything. If
Hmm.
that answers your question.
It does
There's not
because
like that much craze.
it does because what you have said is that there is only 30K gap. Uh, a fresher normally, let's say he has done React and Node, he might be getting around 70K, and the one in Amazon would be getting around 100K. So there's not much difference. But when you see India, it's like a fresher with React and Node would be
I know.
getting at max around 10 or maybe 11, if he's like really brilliant. I think Zomato or companies like that pay,
Mhm.
Swiggy or maybe like all of those unicorn startups pay something like that. But then when Amazon and Microsoft and all of these companies are considered, Visa, American Express, Direct, they pay like 40 or maybe 25. So difference is huge. It's double or triple. Yeah, I think maybe that's the reason.
The reason is the primary reason for that is Indian coders are brilliant, I would say, because Indian they actually look for Indian programmers. Now, if they're hiring the same person in San Francisco or any of the other their headquarters, they almost have to pay, when you listen to those fancy packages of, okay, NITN got 1 crore package, that
Hmm.
technically is not 1 crore. If you look at brief, it is 1 crore, but in India. So
Hmm.
he'll have to shift there. He gets a job in San Francisco. So over there, 200K package is kind of common. Now, if we, that is why they pay, they're saving a lot of money paying that. That's why they pay that. So I would say, let's give an example. 200K is equivalent to almost 10 like 1 or 2 lakhs of India, like 200K a year or 20 lakhs in actually in India. It holds the same value because it's super expensive. you know that's why I don't get the point of I don't know, like it depends, it depends upon the person.
Hmm. Got it. Cool. And if let's say you are earning, and is the 70K a thing you told? Let's say I've done masters. Okay, I've done 2 years of masters, and
Hmm.
I'm good at React. I'm good at Node. All of these technologies. Let's say even let's consider I'm good at Gatsby and Next. Okay, I'm talking about the industry. High level standards.
Okay.
So what kind of a job can a fresher expect? And considering I don't have any experience, because of course Indian experience, I don't think they count Indian experience. I've heard
No,
that. No, they don't count. Okay, so
no,
what kind of?
they do, but if you
Hmm,
have like some good experience in like an international company,
hmm,
because the people here have become smart, because they know that even they don't consider the Indian education. If you will come with a bachelor's, it
hmm,
will be almost super hard to get a job. The reason is they have identified that Indian universities, apart from IITs and other known institutions, don't have that kind of an education system where they can rely on,
hmm.
because over the years, because I did ask this to my one of my serious seniors who was from Kerala.
Okay,
He was doing a second degree. He was doing bachelor's again in UFM. He already had a bachelor's. So
okay,
I asked him why. Like I asked him like you could have easily, got get a job or something like that. And then he told me that just because he had I don't remember his college. It was something like in South, like just like statewide college, and he was like they are considering they give more emphasis to Canadian education. Because if you have some, because he didn't have experience, but if you have experience in some good companies that is internationally known, then they would consider it. But I don't know why they don't. Like in most of the cases,
okay, okay, okay.
Indian bachelors is like, I don't
Yeah.
know, they don't consider it that much.
Hmm.
I have no answer for that because I don't even know why.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
seen people with bachelors not getting jobs, like they find it hard, but I don't know what's the basic reason behind that. That's something out of my mind.
Hmm. Got it.
For
And
you,
and
for example, a person who knows like what you said,
hmm.
you can expect if you go in Toronto, you can expect like 100K. Like even
Okay.
in in Toronto, all the like most of the companies will like give you like the starting package will be like 70, 80K. And there's a surprise. We live in Canada, so
Mm.
40% taxes.
Yeah, I
So
know.
that that 70K is actually not 70K. That comes out to be 49, 50, 52, whatever it goes to.
Canada
So
is a country of taxes and people.
tax, tax.
That's what I have heard.
Yeah.
And what's the tax? What are the taxes in Winnipeg? And of course, the job market in Winnipeg, because I have heard that there are three main
Hmm.
tech hubs in Canada: Vancouver,
Hmm.
Toronto, and Montreal. I think, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
Winnipeg is actually emerging as a headquarters. The reason is
okay.
all the trucking industry, they basically, everyone has to have ports in the east, west, and the only thing that is left is now center. Winnipeg relies at the heart of Canada. So, the best things are like the land is cheaper, rent is cheap. So it's easier for, for example, if a company is coming from USA, it would be easy for them to actually, get an office at cheaper prices in Winnipeg rather than going to Toronto. And as far as the employees are concerned, people here are like open to migration. So someone in Toronto would be happy to, if he's getting a good salary, he would be happy to come to like Winnipeg. As far as it's not Indian, because Indian likes to be in Brampton and Surrey,
Hmm.
so they like to be there. So if you go to Brampton, you'll be like, okay, I've been in. Like you'll say that's actually mini Punjab. I have never been to them there, but as for my experience, because when I go to mall, I'm usually, used to see whites and other cultures. But when you go to Brampton or Surrey, in malls, you will hardly see, you know, other people. So they're used to their culture, like, completely living in their culture. So that's why people like most of the Indians you will find that in like they are more towards Ontario or Vancouver
Hmm.
side.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. I have a lot of relatives over there. Cool. So,
Yeah.
and what kind of a salary can you expect in Winnipeg? As a starter, because I've heard that the salary depends on province to province, right?
Hmm.
Is that the case?
Yes.
And then what kind of a
Yes.
salary can you expect in province? And Manitoba, especially if you consider, if you compare it from Toronto, if you said like a fresher can get, let's say, a minimum of 80K in in Toronto, then what's the minimum
Yeah.
salary he can expect in Winnipeg?
See, when I use a minimum word, I'm actually referring to someone who's good at stuff. I
Hmm.
would not say like who's someone who's, don't have that much experience or who's not that much confident in what he's doing.
Hmm.
I'm not considering those. But if you are confident and you're good at stuff in Winnipeg, because I know some seniors, they're in one of the companies are getting one is getting 65, one is
Hmm.
getting 70 in a local company. So I actually and then I just focus on that because there are people who will like their companies will just pay you 50K a year. So
Hmm.
that depends. But I'm considering the people I know, the level
Hmm.
they are. So I am setting a benchmark, okay? Like for example, I can get a 70.
Hmm.
But there can be like, companies, for example, their government, like City of Winnipeg, it's a company, I guess, I don't know, it's a government branch. They can pay you like 45 something. So something like that. But I would say 70K of Winnipeg's equivalent to 100K of Toronto. The reason
Hmm.
being, for example, the car insurance, here you
Exactly.
can expect like under $200. Over there, you're paying 600. So
Hmm.
those kind of expenses, even the houses or mortgages are expensive. So it depends upon in which city are you in, and based on that, you can set the criteria.
Okay, let's roll back from the jobs to the part-time jobs, right? I think that as a student, it's very important. Uh, we should talk about part-time jobs because that's the main priority. When you are moving
Hmm.
to Canada, I think a lot of students are concerned about what kind of part-time jobs are available over there. And I have heard that uh, even if you are skilled, you don't get a lot of good part-time jobs. I think in a startup or maybe something like that. I can be wrong, just prove me wrong. Okay. You
Hmm.
get all of those I won't say pink collar jobs, but maybe like in restaurants or maybe in petrol pumps and all of those. What's your take on that?
Winnipeg sucks at part-time jobs, to be honest.
Okay.
It's really hard. I've been here for 3 years. My first job I got after 6 months. So
Mm.
it is hard, but now it's becoming better. As far as that white collar jobs are concerned, the reason part-time doesn't make sense even for me. Like even if I have a company, I will not hire a part-time. The reason is, for example, if you're working on someone, because as a part-timer, you can only work 20 hours a week. That
Mm.
is equivalent of 2.5 days if we just consider 8-hour shift.
Mm.
That person who's working just part-time in those kind of jobs actually lacks of, he would be like, he would not know exactly what is going on. For example, if I leave something on Tuesday, then I'm coming on next Tuesday, there would have been a certain discussion or everything that requires me to be a part of, and I'm not. So just because of that miscommunication that can happen, you can't usually get those white collar part times.
Mm.
Like even like I'll consider like just when you come here. Apart from that, most of the jobs are actually Walmart is
Mm.
actually a place who hires most of the people get hired in Walmart. That's their first job most of the time. We have Walmarts and all these grocery stores, and then we have petrol pumps. They skip the dishes just like Zomato and Swiggy.
Mm.
What they're doing is they actually give you good salary as compared to what the other are doing. You
Okay.
just have to go sit in front of a computer and just handle the worldwide network. So I don't know in India, but because at my time when I left India, there was not that much trend of Swiggy and Zomato. So, but here it's just like there's a global company called Takeaway. So there's Takeaway. Takeaway has acquired Just Eat. Just Eat has acquired Skip the Dishes. That is just like a company, food delivery service. So they have
Okay.
acquired almost like 50 companies around the globe. So what happens is people sitting over here are actually working in Australia remotely. They're managing the drivers and the restaurants in Australia. So just because of that, they are expanding business and a lot of jobs are created. So yeah, that is the only kind of jobs that you can expect when you come here. But getting that, it's kind of hard. Like as a fresher, it becomes hard
Mm.
because as compared to Toronto, there are like people are like, because I know a friend who went to Toronto, and as soon as he went, as soon as he got there, his friend was like, okay, let's go to work. Like next day, just to reference, he was working because the more kind of industry, like all those cake factories, the other kind of industries lies in Toronto. That is the reason there are more jobs in Winnipeg. That Winnipeg is actually it's growing. Next year Amazon's warehouse is coming to Winnipeg, so hopefully more jobs will be created because Amazon hires a lot.
Mm.
Just handling all the like the what we call, like all the packages, packing them and then just shipping it. So
Mm.
that kind of stuff is actually managed in Amazon warehouse. So
Mm.
maybe more jobs will be created. I'm not sure.
Supply chain jobs are.
Yeah, supply chain jobs. It's more
Mm.
about like working in warehouse, packing stuff. You would have seen videos online, people
Yeah.
packing stuff in Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Quite cool. Uh, got it. And then, like, can you work? So, does the freelance work also gets counted in those 20 hours? Like, if let's say I'm working on maybe Upwork or something like that.
Mhm.
So, does that get counted in those 20 hours?
That way, because we have to file taxes every year. So in
Okay.
that way, you have to, anyways, you have to hire, an accountant to file taxes.
Hmm.
But it's not necessary. You can do it by yourself. But I usually do that. So you'll have to actually get these stuff done, the paperwork and all that stuff. So in that way, they will file your taxes. So yeah, that is good. As soon as, for example, if you're able to prove, okay, on Fiverr, you are working on something that is paying you, for example, $25 an hour,
Hmm.
you have to prove it $25 an hour. Because if you're earning as $25 an hour and you could be working more, right? Because technically they're expecting you to earn the basic wage in Winnipeg is $13. And if you're earning 30, they will be suspicious because the amount of money that will be going into your account can't be there if you're working 20 hours. So in that way, they just set up everything and just let the government know, okay, you're doing some skilled work and you're just working 20 hours. And they
Hmm.
will just deduct your taxes accordingly.
Got it. And then, of course, like
So
taxes help in getting permanent residency, I think.
nope. It's just like for getting permanent residency taxes, I don't know if it has anything to do with it. It's just
Okay.
like they it's just like by paying taxes you're actually contributing to the economy,
Hmm.
but it's not like it's a criteria of like getting a PR or something like that. Every province has their own criteria. For example, in Winnipeg, as soon as for me, as soon as I complete my degree, I just have to show my first pay stub. But people who do like diplomas, the 1 year courses, they
Hmm.
actually have to work another like full year and then have to apply for their permanent, PR stuff.
Hmm.
Then they apply. So it depends.
It depends.
But I
No.
don't think so. Taxes has to do much with it. I don't know.
Okay.
I may be wrong.
No, no. It's. I think it's my misconception. Cool. And you talked about that after two references, I think you said something like that. After two references, someone got job. So what's the? And I have heard that networking is very important in
Mhm.
Canada. So what's this whole networking thing? Every person I talk to, every friend of mine, every junior, every senior of mine I talk to, he talks about network. So like, what's your take on this network thing?
It's just like for networking in any job, references play a lot big role. The reason being, for example, if I am hiring and I know, for example, my employee is good, I'll be like, okay, do you have someone? Because I would expect that, if he's working for me and he's good, he will bring, a good person. So
Hmm.
that's where references work. There are instances, for example, I referred a person and he screwed up at work, and after that, my reference would not count, because if I'll again give a reference to someone, they'll be like, the last experience wasn't good. So reference is something you even earn, that if they're yeah, if they're considering your reference, they think that you're good. But once, things like that happens, if the other person screws up, then it's just like a matter of self-respect.
Hmm.
Because how I see references, if I'm giving a reference, it's actually a person is hiring that person, respecting me, I would say, because he can hire anyone, right? He's giving that person priority. So that is something we maintain. And that's the reason not everyone, like, if you will ask me, like, not everyone give like, what we call, like, a reference to a random person. That's the reason why. So references do play a lot of role.
Hmm.
Yeah, that'll be it. Like, because networking is like, it's if you're active, for example, if me on LinkedIn, I have added, I just add, people, like what we call like in my field of study, like in
Hmm.
computer science, I often add people who are in computer science, or they're doing something like maybe business owners and all that stuff. So in that way, because LinkedIn, I have seen like LinkedIn has become a platform where people are getting good jobs from there just through the
Hmm.
network. So people do post like, in this whole pandemic, people did post like that I'm looking for a job. Okay, I lost it, and people are actually commenting it out. Help, just message me out, send me your resume. So that's where networking helps, I guess. Like even in like I would not say in like normal regular jobs, but if you consider like office jobs, networking helps a lot, and that's why I'm like getting active on LinkedIn these days.
Cool. And I think LinkedIn is a Canadian company, so of course, when you are active on LinkedIn, when you have a good optimized LinkedIn portfolio, so it would help. And then what about getting a job? Does LinkedIn job helps over there, or there are other platforms as well?
I will see LinkedIn jobs just like any other job, you know job board. Like
Hmm.
there's Indeed and Monster.com. I don't think so they help. Because, but yeah, I've seen lately, I'm seeing that some of the companies like Facebook and other companies, what they're doing is there's an option to apply with LinkedIn.
Hmm.
So if LinkedIn is becoming a reliable source, because as soon as when you apply, even like if I'm applying for co-op, there are 99% chances that recruiter is going to my LinkedIn
Hmm.
and they're looking how active I am, because that is the same thing. It shows how committed you are in your industry, what you're doing, what kind of connections you have. So yeah, it does help.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Your
Yeah, I
connection
can hear you.
was okay. So cool. Cool. I think we have covered almost all of the questions, almost all of the stuff, which I could even like think of at the moment. And cool. And what's the programming culture, especially in when we talk about Manitoba or Winnipeg, because I've heard a lot about Waterloo, hackathons over there, and competitions in Toronto, maybe all over the Ontario. I'm not pretty sure about Ontario, but yeah, Waterloo. I've heard a lot about hackathons happening
Hmm.
over there and competitions, coding competitions. So what about Winnipeg and Manitoba? Does they provide culture for sort of programming over there?
So in UFM, there's actually three groups, like the student-run groups that
Okay.
actually actively do that. So you can be a part of that if you want to actively just work on something, or maybe just attend those hackathons. They do organize all that stuff. So yes, there are competitions, but for me personally, I don't do that. It's just like I feel that like that's too nerdish. Don't mind me, but it's just like I I am good at what I'm doing, but I'm not that much into it at the point of becoming a nerd. But
Hmm.
it just, yeah, you have all those regional hackathons that happens, and then most of the time Google Kickstart and what
Hmm.
hashcode,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So there's Google hashcode, so people are just getting into that. And then Waterloo, as you mentioned, that's the biggest hub for computer science. They do organize their own programming contests and all that stuff. And there are some companies, I'm not sure because I've seen people going in Montreal. I don't know why most of the stuff is organized there. So yeah, there is stuff. And like in Winnipeg, I will not say that there's a lot of hackathons or that kind of stuff is going on, but there are actually student-run groups where they meet every 15 days, discuss about some stuff, doing some projects. And that is actually mentioning that kind of stuff. If you're part of that thing, is that helps in your resume. And one thing that I didn't like mention is your volunteer experience. When you're fresher, somehow they will appreciate a volunteer experience. It
Okay.
can be in any way. So that is something highly considered out of your academic or technical skills,
Hmm.
that it just shows you're devoted to your environment and everyone you're a helpful person and all that stuff. So they do consider the volunteer experience as well.
Yeah.
It can be in anything.
I've seen a lot of students do that volunteer thing you talked about in any organization. Let's say in I don't know, but yeah, I have seen that volunteer tag in their LinkedIn profile. After that education part, there is always a volunteer thing, and I was also thinking like, why? I mean, like, why always? Everyone does this
The
volunteership.
the reason is because every internship here pays you well. So if you're doing a volunteer job, they are not paying you anything. You're working
Hmm.
for free. And that shows that you really want to work for them. For example, if
Hmm.
I'm going to take part in, I was going to do, like, I'm not getting a time. There's an organization, ASAC. So how it works is they will send us to Mexico, their villages.
Yeah, I got it.
So to teach them English,
Hmm.
because if I am taking my time like 6 weeks and going to Mexico, not getting paid, and
Hmm.
it's just like I have a good heart and I'm just trying to help other people. So that kind of stuff, they're actually it
Yeah.
sounds good. You're helping someone without money.
So it means that they know that people are working for money, but they don't want people to show that they are working for money.
Yeah, because a volunteer tag is mostly associated with a no pay job. You're not getting
Hmm.
anything out of it, but you're just helping them out,
For social good.
because even all the companies, yeah, for like social cause, all the companies in Canadian companies, especially in Winnipeg, when you will go there, you will every time you're gonna find something like they're having some sort of what we call, like, they do host that kind of events where they help other people out. They have their own NGO kind of stuffs, not like particular NGO, but they host donation camps and all that stuff. So they're actively working for the community, and they do like a lot because if the company is doing that, and if a person is coming with, okay, yo, I also have helped for example, going to old age homes, like holding a community service, or maybe arranging something for them, helping them out, they'll be interested. Okay, that person resonates with their values, what we are trying to do, and they'll be like, okay, they'll be happy to see you
Hmm.
because you'll be doing the same things that they are doing.
Got it.
So just that.
That clarifies a lot of things. Cool. And okay, I don't have any questions. Anything you want to ask, or anything you want to share? Uh, you know, I, I would love to hear that.
Sure. I have shared almost everything that that I know, but just like I just want to ask, like, apart from this, what exactly are you doing?
Okay, so
Like in terms of, are you doing like bachelor's
so I've
or you in school?
recently completed my bachelor's, and sort of not looking for a job, but I have a startup over here in Delhi right now. It's Innovative Labs. So we have sort of a services branch, as well as we have two products.
Hmm.
So kind of working on that, as well as sort of doing all of these podcasts, community things, related to all of that stuff. And yeah, I mean, like, currently even I'm not very much clear about my future, where I want to head. I have a lot of options. I know a lot of stuff, but yeah, currently, of course, like, not a job would not be my piece of cake, but maybe if the startup just boosts up, or something great we do, then of course I would be continuing with all of that, or maybe I would be diverting things a little bit. I'm not really sure about what I would be
No, I
doing.
got it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Whatever you're doing, like that startup. Yeah, do let me know if you want to expand it here. I'll be eager. Once I get out of the university, I'll be eager to do that kind of stuff.
And one thing is that when you talked about that you can't start a startup on a student visa. I think there
Student
are
permit.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think there are provisions to do that. I think in Ryerson University, I saw that they do promote, I think, student startups. So you can take someone who has a citizenship over here in Canada, and then you can do a startup
But
with him. Yeah.
but that happens even right now we can do it. But what happens is, for example, your startup becomes successful, and then you get into, at a point where you're ready to hold, and then
Mm,
that person will, like, let's suppose you have a success, and the startup got really well in 1 or 2 years,
mm.
and your company is evaluated for 1 million.
Got it.
When it comes to cash, that
Mm,
person, like, I
mm.
am sitting at the top of 1 million. Why would I let you in? So that
Got
kind
it.
of reliability
Hmm.
that happens.
Trust
So just
factor.
because of that, trust issues, yeah.
Hmm. Trust
So
issues.
just it's a normal human behavior. If you're sitting at the top of 1 million,
Hmm.
even though you didn't do much, but you'll
Hmm.
be like, I am the owner of this. So then it
Hmm.
comes to that kind of trust issues. So just because of
Got it.
that. Technically, if you can't do that on your name, or you can't start it, because a student permit, there are actually guidelines of what you and you can't do. Like, you can register a company, but after that, it will be like a violation of a study permit, and
Okay.
you will not be able to move forward with work permit and other kind of stuff, because
Oh.
technically you'll not be able to do other jobs. Like, it
Hmm.
will be hard, because that will be a violation, technically just violating the rules. So don't want to do anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Play safe until unless you are a permanent resident, of course.
Yes.
Mm, got it. Good. And I think with the skills you have right now, web development and all of that, uh, turning an idea into reality is pretty much believable with the web development skills, because I was used to do machine learning. I started my journey with the machine learning back in, I think, 4 years 5 years back. But and even I have taught a lot of students machine learning and stuff. But when I jumped into web development 2 years back, I can feel the real power. I can feel the real power. I would say, just building out what you can think. That's the that is the power, I think. Yeah.
And that is the main reason I don't go much into AI and machine learning. Everyone
Mm.
says that AI and machine learning is future, but is not future in the next 20, I don't know, but in the next 10 years, till the point I'll be like, entering the job market. If it does, there's always institutions where you can do like a 1 year course. So
No,
we can do it. Like,
I
if,
think.
but you can't do much with machine learning. In, for example, I got an idea, let's make something like, an online service. So you can't do that kind of stuff that you'll be able to see visible results in that much of shorter time. With machine learning, it's more about, creating complex, because if you want to make do a startup with machine learning, you have to have a lot of cash. You
Exactly.
have to be, because all those big tech companies are investing in machine learning. Like a new, for example, a new startup would never be like about machine learning, as far as I have seen, because
Exactly.
it requires a lot of cash, first of all.
I've done that mistake. You know, when I was doing machine learning, sort of, I was in a
Hmm.
dreamland sort of thing that that I can do anything with machine learning and AI. And I sort of when when I started the startup, we had a services pipeline and we have three products back then. Worked on one product for a year, and then I folded my hands. I can't do machine learning related stuff, especially in India, because you don't get a lot of data. Customized to for Indian audience. So yeah, that's the issue. And then of course, the thing you talked about, that machine learning has a scope only after like maybe of course you said that you don't know about that, but uh, the the main thing, the main problem which I think with machine learning field is that you only get to do frontline jobs until unless you are a PhD. You won't get frontline jobs where you
Hmm.
are actually
Exactly.
building stuff and doing some really interesting thing. So yeah, that really matters. But with, of course, with front end, with full stack, you get a lot of interesting stuff to do, day in and day out. And
Hmm.
with so much going on right now, everything, every new thing coming out, it is just really exciting. When I stepped into this field, I sort of accelerated.
Hmm.
React, I learned React, I learned Node, and then I got to know about Next, I got to know about Gatsby, TypeScript, and all of that. It
Gatsby.
was, yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, I was going to mention the same thing. They're not actual jobs in machine learning on AI right now, unless and until you're a PhD.
Hmm.
Then that's actually a vague. So what are you doing right now? If a person who is solely, I see I see people in my university, they're solely taking machine learning courses, but
Hmm.
then it comes to the fact that when you'll go to the industry, they're not jobs. So what are you going to do? For example, a person is looking for React and you don't know React, and then
Hmm.
you'll say, okay, I know Python and all this pipeline stuff. They're like, I don't need that. So it is the future, but not, it's gonna take some time to have actual jobs in machine learning. And that is the reason. And secondly, because according to my experience, a lot of people took some courses in machine learning, and that's they described super hard. And like, I'm not going into it. I'm good with the development, and that's it.
It's actually a lot of statistics and I think 3D modeling involved now, so that's why they are saying all of that. Moreover,
Probably, yeah.
yeah, I had a question that just came and gone. Okay, cool. Nothing more to ask. I think I've completed all of that. Uh, okay, so you want to ask anything? You can just ask that.
I was actually going to ask you about your other page
Okay,
that
so
you mentioned.
you can look down
I'll just
you can look at INNOVATIVE underscore CODER
INNOVA
TIVE
innovative. Okay. Underscore.
coder CODER. That's
Oh,
sort
okay.
of my main page. I think I post very less frequently these
Mm-hmm.
days on that one. Uh,
Innovative coder.
yeah, yeah, mostly
Oh,
active now.
awesome, man. I
Mostly
have my
active.
friends following this page, my Indian
Oh
friends.
wow.
So you're doing well. Three or four of
Maybe.
my friends from Delhi are, yeah,
Okay.
they're following this. So
That's
that's actually great.
that's nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Cool.
So that shows like I really appreciate what you're doing, and I believe, the way you're heading. It's not like you are someone that, I like these kind of people. You are not in, because if that would have been any other person, he would have been looking for jobs and going 9 to 5. But what
Mm.
you're doing is something, you're more focused on what I can see is actually getting into startups and creating jobs rather
Hmm.
than, just sitting idle and go to 9 to 5. I like these people, to be honest.
Hmm. Yeah,
Great work.
actually, yeah, sort of. I don't think maybe. I don't really know right now. Maybe I
Hmm.
I would be doing a job, but of course for not for a long time, and then switching back to this startup world. Because see, the thing is, I like creating stuff. I don't know, but I have this sort of sort of this thing in me that I want to create stuff. Let it be content. If you can see all of my pages, I'm doing content creation over there. If you see the things, the products I build, I'm creating that. So sort of creation is like what I define, as my main skill, or something like that. Yeah, maybe.
That's really appreciable. That's really good. Like no one, I can't even think of doing that, having 135K followers. That's
It takes time. It does
and
take
having
time.
that on a page takes time. Like
Mm,
a page usually, takes time because I see influencers, they do that because, they're posting that kind of, good pictures and all that stuff. But for a page, this is a milestone for me because it takes a lot of time for people. Like people usually in this generation don't tend to, follow much of a content. They're more like,
mm,
content, like looking for videos on TikTok. So
mm.
this is a milestone, I would believe, getting
TikTok.
that much like traffic on a page.
Hmm. Well,
You can
TikTok
actually
is
start a TikTok, just giving.
no. I was going to tell you that TikTok is banned in India. So yeah,
Is it? Oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh, sorry. Oh, I remember. I would say just search for a clever programmer.
yeah,
I
yeah.
am
I
just
know, I
looking
know.
at you,
Clever
and it's
Kazi,
just like you're just a early stager of, that Kazi.
right? I know. Like, he's a genius. He's a genius. I would say
Yeah.
he's a.
Oh, his program skills are genius. He can do anything he likes.
He does anything he likes. Not he can. He does.
Yeah, he does actually. He's just making, I just saw like 2 or 3 of his videos. One was like
Hmm.
making his whole Netflix website. I want to see exactly on. Like
Hmm.
that is something that takes a lot. Maybe like he would have, just he like that requires a lot of work because you need to,
Yeah.
know everything, like exact dimensions of what's going to be there. But like doing that is something not everyone is doing it. That is the only person I see making real world application other than projects, like, teaching you how is he doing it. So
And
I
doing all of that
yeah,
live.
so I just see
You know, see, live coding
exactly.
is something, I've tried that thing once or twice, and I was like,
Mhm.
it's so much of embarrassment, I would say. At this moment, I'm not confident, live coding. Because when you are coding, you tend to do, how was that if loop, how was that for loop, you tend to search, very small things, and that
For
was.
me, if I'm going live, if you're seeing me as a live coder, half of the stream will be on Stack Overflow. Like,
It's control C, control V.
when I code, it's half of that is from Stack Overflow. I don't like usually copy paste. I usually tend to, get and because when you're working for a company, it
Hmm.
it's just like you have to take care of the performance and,
Hmm.
the
Exactly.
scalability as well. So just take the idea and just make ways out. Yeah,
Hmm.
so as I mentioned, like it would be like 60% of time I'd be doing Stack Overflow if I'm building something like that. Because
Exactly.
I don't like, yeah.
Cool, cool, buddy. Okay, so let's end the session, or you have anything to ask?
No, but I'll be bugging you whenever, I feel like
Of
talking,
course, bro.
if
Of
that's
course,
okay.
of course, definitely, and it's mutual. It's mutual. So cool.
I'll be in touch with you.
Of course, and that's how we come to the end of the session. So, uh, a quick tip for all of the viewers who are watching, because of course this would be going live on my YouTube. You can search my YouTube as well. It's Innovative Coder, and like I have sort of two YouTube, but
Hmm.
one is related to actually kind of tutorials side of mine. So I have hosted a lot of tutorials over
Hmm.
there, and this one where this will be going live, where this will be hosted, would be sort of where I document my journey, you can say, or maybe I do podcast. I do some random stuff. Even I don't know what I do. I post anything.
Hmm.
So yeah. So for all the
Okay.
viewers, for all the viewers out there, just like the video, subscribe the channel and comment how you like the conversation. And if you want more of the conversation, then mention the topics. We would be having more guests, just like Jishan, uh, and we would be having more experts over here on the channel itself. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.